take you to the Central Bank of Nigeria. And finally, the Central Bank of Nigeria has bowed to pressure as it has announced a 10-day extension on the deadline for the use of old naira notes across the country. The CBN governor, who spoke to journalists on Sunday morning, said he had the approval of President Muhammadu Buhari to make the extension. The new deadline is now February the 10th instead of the former 31st of January deadline. Before now, anger, panic, and frustration was the order of the day as time raced to the deadline for the removal of the old 100, 500, and 200 naira notes from circulation. Citizens continue to queue endlessly at automated teller machines, ATMs, to get the new naira notes. Others moved from bank to bank in search of the scarce naira notes with minimum success. The CBN governor spoke with journalists. Let's take a listen.
We have today sought and obtained Mr. President's approval for the following. 1. A 10-day extension of the deadline from January 31, 2023 to February 10, 2023 to allow for collection of more old notes legitimately held by Nigerians and achieve more success in cash swap in our rural areas, in our villages and communities, after which all old notes outside the CBN loses their legal tender status. To February 17, 2023, in compliance with Section 20, subsection 3 and Section 22 of the CBN Act, allowing Nigerians to deposit their old notes at the CBN after the February deadline, when the old currency would have lost its legal.
So what was the grandstanding about 31st? No, we can't extend. Now this is it now.
Pure arrogance, unnecessarily.
What was
now? So the CBN governor realized that we had people in the rural
areas.
This was the point we were
difficult
making.
to access.
Yes. All these points
These
were
the points we were making
marshaled, and he didn't listen. All these points were marshaled, but it just shows that policymakers need to ensure that when they are making this, they are still with us. They must always consider the people, feel what we feel, put their feet on the ground. They should not stay mid-here and the pronouncing policies. Because for me, this decision to change is not as honorable as it would have been if he had listened to the cries of Nigerians before now. And then I am well.
Now he's the one who said that he had gone to seek approval to extend. Were you not the same person who up till Saturday was saying no going back? So you are now saying that
seek approval.
He said he has sought that they have sought approval, which means you are the one, or it came from you. You went to the president, or you were the same person telling us that you will never, you will not do this, you will not do that. Yes, he went to Daura to see the president.
So if we have just told us, okay, let's see how it goes. We may, if he had used the word, we may extend. Nigerians will feel.
He kept saying no going back, no going back.
He made it look like. And then I was speaking with somebody, bro, he's a Nigerian, but a British Nigerian, who said everywhere in the world they change currency. He said after the death of Queen Elizabeth, they've introduced new coin, and nobody is putting a deadline to when those coins will go. He said what they do is keep bringing them in, and they will not allow such thing to go out again. That what Nigeria needs to do is, okay, you have new notes. Allow people to keep spending both old and new side by side. But once the old one comes into the banking system, don't put it back again. He said it may take years, it may take months, but gradually.
You can give 2 years. I think that's what the Britons have done.
He said gradually,
2 years.
He said some old notes will get so old without even changing currency that banks will say, no, this one can't go back. That's a simple procedure that did not demand or warrant this grandstanding. That was what they used.
And arrogance.
He said
it's the arrogance that is it for me.
He said what he's saying
at the point in time, they even try to politicize this thing.
Yes. No, the thing, when Shiwaju made that remark that if you like...
hide the money.
Hide the currency, do this, we will still win. The PDP, you know, these days, we have all kinds of people who are spokespersons to presidential candidates. They are just hitting up the politics with the stupid remarks that they are making, stupid statements that they are releasing on behalf of their people.
Yes.
They went on to say, oh, Asiwaju was expressing his frustration because Buhari was not going with him to campaign. They are saying that, oh, he was referring to Buhari. Yeah. Meanwhile, he neither referred to himself nor to the president. What he was trying to say was that there are some people bent on frustrating.
And he said it now.
He never mentioned, and it's possible too that there will be fifth columnists within any system. Yeah. He never mentioned the president. They twisted it to mean that it's Buhari that is attacking. President. Oh, that they should not listen. Now we've seen Atiku. So, on behalf of whom they issued such a ridiculous statement, we've seen Atiku now also saying that there should
be an extension.
Because Atiku is a politician who is smart. He knew that the people can easily decide that, oh, so you are proof of the suffering that we are going through. So he too said, no, give this thing, extend this thing. Traditional rulers have pleaded. When you talk, ignorant people on social media will say, oh, why is it that it's only politicians who are complaining? But we've seen MBA complain. We've seen students complain. All kinds of people have complained. Yeah. We've seen even financial analysts complain.
And Jide,
why is it that we are so blinded by politics that we always read politics to everything?
How many of these prominent politicians have you seen queuing by the ATM trying to withdraw money?
You see, the Nigerian who thinks that big politicians will not have access to money to spend for election. They need to have their heads examined. It means that some people are just infinitely ignorant. The politician, you think bank staff will not hoard money
to make gains
and give to politicians? You think the politician is like you that will go to ATM and be looking for money? No. It is the ordinary man that will suffer at the end of the day. The politician that you think this thing is designed for will not have access to money. You will see that the politician will have access to it because they have their connections. Some of them have stakes in some banks. They have connection right into the banks, the decision makers in the banks. The money that they need, their own will come out. It is your own. Those ignorant people who are defending Emefiele over something that makes no sense. They are the ones who will suffer. The politician will still find the money that he wants. Maybe we're in this country together. We shall see. The politician will still find the money that he needs. He will call the people in those banks. He will do a deal with them. They will bring his money for him. It's you and I who will come out. We go to the whole of Akute this morning. No single place where the ATM was dispensing money. I came back from Akure. I landed at MM2. I wanted to get currency. People were telling us that it's everywhere. You know, all those stupid remarks that it's everywhere. There was no single ATM machine. ATM dispensing at MM2. I then asked the question, they said for the past 3 days, none of the ATMs you see here has dispensed cash. That's in MM2. I'm talking about Friday. People can investigate. So if at such a rarefied place, we can't even find money, you can imagine how bad it is. And when we are talking about the rural people, they are Nigerians like the rest of us. Do you know what my friend, the Speaker of Borno State, told me? He said in Borno State, you know, Borno State has the honor of sharing border with three countries, Cameroon, Chad, and Niger. He said those communities close to Nigeria, it is our currency that they are spending. Now, they are bringing Nigerian currency in sacks to Borno, where you have only banks in 4 local governments out of 27.
4 out of 27.
And they are bringing currency, our currency, from those countries. They are bringing it in sacks. There is no way that those ones, except Emefiele wants to have people's blood on his hand. Some of them, if they can't change their money, they will commit suicide, and their blood will be on his head. Because there's just no time. The time that you are giving is not enough. Let's do things the way it's done in other countries of the world. Even in the UK, we thought their efficiency and all that we can't match. They allowed this thing for 2 years. Even after the expiration, people should be able
I think that's part of the arrangement.
Banks will be able to. Now, why are they thinking about that?
I think that's because
why are they thinking?
After February,
let me tell you something.
You can bring it to 17th.
They have said that they have employed 400 agents, CBN. What he didn't do before now, in the last few days, they've employed 400 agents to help them mop up this thing. Why didn't you do it before now? We told you this thing, there was a lot of inefficiency in this thing. You didn't agree. You are showing arrogance. Now you've seen it yourself. You are the one who went to the president to ask for time.
He wants to effect all these changes in 10 days. You see, sometimes we need
after all the years that he has had.
You had months
6 days to the election.
To correct the anomalies that people... So, you see, the fact that you are the policy maker does not mean that it's foolproof. People can see through it and identify some mistakes. The CBN governor should have listened. But from what we have seen, he has gotten approval for an extension for 10 days. In 10 days, he wants to mop up all the old naira notes.
So far, they've seen 2.7 trillion. And they're looking for 3.8 trillion.
AY, he mopped up 2.7 in months. Now he's going to clear 3-point-something in days. You see, it shows how unprepared we are sometimes when we make policies. A good policy that will help the economy, if badly managed,
will inflict pain on the people.
The people are... Let me share my experience with you today. I was coming, no fuel. There is just one filling station selling, and people lined up. I joined. Some people got to the point of sale, brought up old notes. The people there said they won't take. At that point, double jeopardy. He has been lining up since 5:30 in the morning.
Yes.
Can you imagine?
Now, the money he has cannot buy. You can imagine the frustration of such a person. I quickly, because I was also with old notes, so I quickly reversed from the place and decided to find solution to my problem. And that is going to buy black market. You see how one badly managed policy will inflict hurts.
If banks are still giving people old notes,
you enter the bank, they give you old notes. The few ATM that worked yesterday around Fatah Atere were dispensing old notes.
I don't understand.
Yesterday. Today,
there
banks
can be
are
only one
working.
reason for that. It's either the bank staff too are hoarding it.
Yes.
But BKO, you understand this is Nigeria.
If it's not readily available, people will hoard.
See, let me shock you. I attended a social event on Friday, and new notes were sprayed.
That one has been there. See, my quarrel with that kind of arguments is they've been selling new notes from time immemorial.
No,
it's been with us.
I mean, this new note.
Yeah, no, from time.
I'm talking about new currency.
I'm telling you, that does not mean that we have it readily available. Money.
No, I'm not saying we have readily available.
That is the argument that some people make. Currency traders are also That's the wrong way of looking at this problem.
No.
The fact that people are trading in it does not mean it is readily available.
No, that's the wrong argument.
How you judge that is go to the ATM points. How many of them are dispensing new notes? I sent my boy Lekon to go and get me money yesterday. He came back with old notes. I said, what's the meaning of this? Why did you bring old? I said, you should have called me to say they didn't have...
No, he wouldn't know what will come out now. I went to the ATM yesterday because somebody told me... somebody told me new notes have been dispensed somewhere. I went there. When it was my turn, it was old notes. I was using that spraying thing to buttress your point that it is possible that bank staffers are trading with this thing.
No, they are
so it does not connote availability. Oh. I'm only telling you.
If you are a bank staff and the politician promises you hefty money, he makes a deal with you.
And then you make personal...
You think they will not keep some money for them?
That should... I was going to say that is part of what the CBN governor should have factored into all his arguments.
He said it.
But if he knew...
That CBN workers, they're looking into it and they're going to deal with them.
He should have dealt with it.
And ICPC.
He should have dealt with it before...
How many banks can they monitor? How many staff are...
Okay, are you also saying bank staffs are not eligible to bring their own old notes and change it to new notes in the bank? By so doing, making some deals, cutting some deals, coming with money in their bags and changing it. And it is lucrative for them to do because we are in a hurry.
Yes.
If we are not in a hurry,
Yes,
and I know I can get it as at when due, I won't cut deals.
Is that fear of the deadline?
That is why they are making
pushing people to say, okay,
Yes.
I will give you this amount of money,
and then
get new
and then the
notes.
people lining up outside the bank won't get it.
They won't get it.
I also discovered something yesterday that bank security agents, once new notes are loaded in place, they already have the phone numbers of POS agents they will call. Come and line up, get the one available, and then the real people who need the money are left with the old notes.
Well,
Banks are refusing to load their ATMs because they don't want to dispense old notes and they don't have
the POS guys. They change money now. They now change.
If you want to change now, you pay extra.
Yes.
It's not even part of the earlier arrangement. Now you want to change your old notes to new notes. This is how much you will pay me. So it is
somebody paid an extra 20,000.
It's possible
to get 60,000.
Yes.
You can imagine. So it became lucrative because we are in a hurry. If we allow these things enough time, people will not suffer. Markets were closed. I mean, most marketers refused to sell yesterday. And the argument was, I will not take...
that one has implications.
Even today,
because of this deadline.
most markets are half empty. They say they won't take old notes. And buyers will not come with new notes.
Because they don't have enough.
Because they don't have.
The fear of this deadline, churches will not even...
No, churches have notified people don't bring old notes. Because if you bring it, how do they change it? It's chaotic in the banks to even get inside. You can imagine, I told you about Yola, where I wanted to get into Access Bank. There was only one branch in the whole of
And then you need to
Yola.
see the crowd.
You can come and see the crowd inside. Come and see the crowd. So people will bring hefty money they want to change. You are even a lot of the people that even want to change money, they are not captured in the banking system at all. You know, these are people who didn't have account. They just do their legitimate business.
And they are bringing the raw cash.
It's not everybody who brings, somebody, the way Nigerians think. He said he saw hefty money, this and that. So, and they said there's no money. Some people made legitimate money and it's hefty money. Because they didn't think they should be, they should have a bank account.
For some people,
it's a religious thing. For some people, it's cultural.
Some people, it's even business.
But it's legitimate
money.
He
uses the money
every day. Should they lose the money?
There are people who use their money daily, so they don't want to put it in the bank. Now they are forced to approach the banks, and then the bank is not prepared. If Emefiele wanted us to do this thing in a couple of days like he planned, he should have printed. No,
you don't even do this kind of thing.
It's a funny arrangement. There are people who will have to travel
with fiat.
There are people who have to travel 3 hours, 4 hours to get to a bank.
Yes.
We still have them in this country.
Yes.
There are locations that the nearest bank is 3 hours.
Yeah, because of insecurity and all that.
Because of insecurity and all
especially
that.
in the north. Did you read the statement by the Arewa Consultative Forum and some of those lawmakers from Kano? Some people who are making all this noise, they've never left Lagos. All their lives, they've never stepped out of Lagos.
Then
they've not gone to the north to see how a lot of our people, rural people, hard-working people who make legitimate money, they are not money launderers. They made their legitimate money. We must do our best to ensure that they don't lose the money that they have made. They must do our best. Because some of them will be driven to suicide. Look at the boy who was warning that. Look, he said if he brought out his money, 350,000. He said he's gone to the bank 3 times and he couldn't change the money. That if I can't change this money, I will become, and this money gets wasted in my hand, I will become a bandit. He even swore to God.
You were talking about suicide. I was going to say criminality is another thing.
No,
this is a good example.
Let me tell you, suicide happened in 1984. When Buhari was head of state and he did this kind of thing. A big man in one of the northern states who could not change
his money,
the quantum of his money, he committed suicide. I don't want to mention the name. It's possible.
There's no way we will say people's money will get expired or liquidated. Money they worked for.
All right, we have to leave it there. Dari Odufokon, I want to thank you for your contribution, Journalist Hangout on Sunday. BQ, thank you. We are counting down to the 2023 general election. And it's 26 days to go. BQ.
Yes, we will do our best from the beginning of February. We'll start analyzing state by state the strengths of the political parties.